The Library of Alexandria was never just a building. It was a mind. A vast brain made of scrolls and scholars breathing ideas into the ancient world. For nearly 700 years, it held the largest collection of knowledge the world had ever seen. And then, in a slow, quiet tragedy, that knowledge vanished. This is the story of how the Library of Alexandria became the brain of civilization, and why its silence still haunts us. It begins around 300 BCE in the new city of Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great and ruled by his successors. They wanted more than a capital. They wanted a lighthouse for the human mind. So they built a library unlike anything that had existed before. A place where every idea, every discovery, every question was welcomed. The powerful Ptolemaic kings poured wealth into it. They funded scholars, collectors, translators, and explorers. Their rule was simple. If a ship entered Alexandria, every scroll on board had to be duplicated. The original stayed in the library, the copy went back to the owner. Knowledge was not borrowed. It was absorbed. Within a century, the library became the largest intellectual project in human history. At its heart stood the Museum, a research institute filled with study halls, gardens, observatories, lecture rooms, and dining halls. It was not a library as we imagine one. It was a university, a think tank, a laboratory, and a refuge for the world's brightest minds. Some of the greatest thinkers on earth walked its halls. Euclid shaped the foundations of geometry. Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the earth so accurately that modern scientists were stunned when they rediscovered his work. Aristotle's studied the human body with such precision that he is considered the father of anatomy. Archimedes visited and exchanged ideas that would echo across centuries. The library gathered knowledge from Greece, Egypt, Persia, India, and far beyond. Poetry, astronomy, medicine, mathematics, politics, engineering, agriculture, philosophy, linguistics, even early machines. If humans thought it, the library preserved it. It became the memory of civilization. But knowledge has a strange weakness. It has no armor. And the library existed in a world filled with ambition, war, pride, and fire. The first great blow came during the Rome era. In 48 BCE, Julius Caesar was fighting for his life in Alexandria. Ships in the harbor were set on fire and the flames leapt onto the docks, then onto the warehouses where scrolls were stored. Thousands were lost. Some say the main library survived. Others say the damage was unimaginable, but the truth is simple. A brain had been injured. Still, the library endured. Scholars rebuilt, collected again, and continued their work under Roman rule. For centuries, it kept breathing, even as politics shifted around it. Then came a quieter enemy, neglect. As empires changed, funding dried up. Kings who once celebrated knowledge now feared it. A new institution, the Serapeum, became the secondary home for surviving scrolls. But by the 4th century, religious tensions grew inside Alexandria. The city became a battlefield of ideas, identities, and authority. In 391 CE, the Roman Emperor Theodosius outlawed pagan temples. The Serapeum, which housed thousands of scrolls, was destroyed in a wave of fanatic violence. More knowledge vanished. But even then, fragments of the library's spirit lived on. Some scholars continued to teach. Some scrolls survived in private collections. Yet the brain that once guided civilizations was fading. The final silence came sometime between the 5th and 7th centuries. War, political decay, cultural shifts. There was no single fire, no dramatic night of destruction. The library died the way minds often die, slowly, through forgetting. And that slow forgetting changed the world. Think of what humanity lost. Treatises on mathematics that could have accelerated science by centuries. Medical knowledge that might have transformed healing. Early engineering ideas that could have reshaped history. Philosophies and languages that simply disappeared. Entire civilizations left behind no voice because their scrolls were never copied again. The greatest loss was not the scrolls themselves. It was the momentum of human progress. Yet the influence of the library echoes even now. Its model shaped the great libraries of the Islamic Golden Age, which later passed knowledge to Renaissance Europe. Its spirit survives in every university, every research lab, every scientist who dares to ask a new question. The dream of Alexandria never truly died, it simply moved. And from its ashes came a powerful idea: knowledge is not a luxury. Knowledge is infrastructure. Knowledge is civilization. 3 lessons remain from its story. First, knowledge must be protected because it is fragile. One spark can erase centuries. Second, knowledge must be shared. A library locked away is a library already burning. Third, knowledge must be renewed. Ideas survive only when people care enough to chase them. The Library of Alexandria was not destroyed in a single moment. It was destroyed through neglect, division, and fear of change. And those forces still exist today. Every time society chooses ignorance over curiosity, a small piece of Alexandria disappears again. But every time someone learns, questions, discovers, or preserves, a small piece returns. The Library of Alexandria may be gone, but the mind it inspired lives on. In every scholar, in every library, in every search for truth. Because the greatest library is not a building of stone, it is the human desire to know. And as long as that desire survives, Alexandria will never be forgotten.